You've probably heard about Japanese saws. We've been banging on about them. We've got a great video going into a lot of detail about them, but perhaps you just don't know which ones you should start with. And so I've got 4 here which cover a lot of ground, a whole lot of different tasks, and I reckon these are a great place to start. A couple of really quick points on Japanese saws if you're not familiar with them. All Japanese saws cut on the pull stroke rather than the push stroke. This means that as you're pulling the saw, the tension is keeping that blade super straight, which is how they can get the blade so thin and give you a really nice fine cut. That is the biggest difference. Second major difference for Japanese saws is you don't sharpen them. You just replace the blade component, and they're really inexpensive. So you will get a lot of use out of them, depending on what you're doing, maybe a year or 2, and then you go and buy a new blade, and that way you keep them razor sharp all the time. If you don't know much about Japanese saws, maybe jump up here and click on this link for the full in-depth video where we talked about how they work and why they're different from Western saws. First of all, with apologies to people who can pronounce Japanese words accurately, I'm going to go through and name these saws and say what they do. We've got a Ryoba. It is a double-sided saw. This one is used specifically for big, rough, fast cuts. So it's going to replace your big, old, traditional hand saw. It can do cross cuts and rip cuts, big coarse teeth, fast, not as super fine as some of the Japanese saws. Second saw, Dozuki. Dozukis always have a spine on the back, which stiffens them. It means they can have stunningly thin blades. This one is 0.3 of a mil, and the cut it creates is like a hair. This one specifically is used for doing really accurate end-grain dovetail work or box joints, really fine cuts very close to the line that you barely need to clean up at all. That's a Dozuki. We've got a Kataba, which previously I have pronounced kabata, which sounds more like bread. This is a Kataba. It is a blade with no stiffener, so it can be worked all the way through the timber, which obviously you can't do with a spine. This one is primarily a cross-cut blade for finer cross-cutting, but it is kind of a general purpose blade that allows you to cut all the way through timber in a number of ways. And a little saw that I just love, I believe it's pronounced Kugihiki, but feel free to shout from the rooftops about how incorrect that is. It is a flush cut saw. As you can see, it is super flexible, and it allows you to do really, really fine work where you're cutting off dowels, plugs, through tenons or dovetails and box joints, but you don't want to scratch your work. There's a huge range of these saws that are designed for really specific tasks, but with these 4, you'll be able to achieve most of what you would need in general woodworking, and your bases would really be covered. These 4 saws will give you tons of versatility and give you the best of what a Japanese saw has to offer, and get you through all those jobs and all those tricky situations where you need a really nice clean cut. There's links below with more information, and you can head over and check these out. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.